Well, hello, and thank you for being here tonight. My name is Hunter Pinke, and it's an honor for me to be able to speak to you tonight. This is a new one for me. This is my first virtual event, and I think I'm pretty well prepared for it. If you guys know me and my background, my mom had a camera in my face growing up pretty much my entire childhood. It's very well documented. So to be in a recording studio with just a couple people here, this is just like normal for me. I feel at home. But I'm honored to be able to speak to you tonight, and to been asked is just truly really special for me. How this all kind of came down is Wendy Opsahl is on the board here at Northland, and she actually was my COM 101 teacher. Now, for those of you that don't know what COM 101 is, that is your intro to public speaking class that everybody has to take in college. A lot of you probably dreaded that class. For me, it was pretty fun. Wendy was an awesome teacher, but how surreal that she teaches me how to public speak, and now I get to public speak for an organization that she's on the board of. I don't think Wendy went over how to do a virtual event in the middle of a global pandemic, so you might need to add that one to your list of things you teach, Wendy. But I think I'll try and do my best. So when I got asked to speak here, it was last February, and my life looked a lot different than it does right now. And so tonight, I'm gonna share a little bit of my story, and then also share a little message that's been on my heart, and hopefully you can take something from it. But the first page of my story is actually the same page that I'm on right now, and it starts here in Grand Forks. I was born at All True. I was a flood baby. I was born in '97, and I grew up my first 6 years here in Grand Forks. That means I was on skates. I was taking lessons at the Hislop, learning how to swim, t-ball. All those things happened here in Grand Forks. When I was going into kindergarten, my mom and we moved down to Fargo, and of course I wanted to keep playing hockey. Everybody in Grand Forks plays hockey, as many people know, and she told me, Hunter, they don't have hockey in Fargo. You're gonna have to play basketball. I said, oh man, they don't have hockey in Fargo. Man, what a terrible town. So I started playing basketball. I gave up the hockey stick in spite of my passion for hockey. It ended up working out for me in the end. But I was there in Fargo for a little bit, and then when I turned 10 years old, I moved to a little tiny town in south central North Dakota called Wishick. And Wishick is where I spent the rest of my childhood. And I had a fantastic childhood. It was what you would call a full Class B experience. For us North Dakota people, we know the Class B experience, but it was a small town experience. I got to do everything. I played sports. I was in extracurricular activities of all kinds. Basketball, football, track and field. I played baseball in the summer, but I also did drama. I was also in FFA, FBLA. You know, it was interesting when I was a senior in high school, I had a news piece done on me. It was during my senior basketball season, and they said, Hunter, what is your most fun accomplishment that you've had in high school? And I assumed that the response they were thinking was something to do with, dunking a basketball or scoring your 1,000th point, scoring a touchdown over your rival. No, mine was going to the International Science Fair in Los Angeles. A kid from Wishick going down to LA, that was pretty cool for me. And so I got to do tons growing up in Wishick, and I'm so appreciative of being able to grow up there and growing up in rural North Dakota. But my favorite activity was always basketball. I could probably thank my mom for that one. Basketball was my passion, and from a young age, I can remember I wanted to be a college basketball player. I really wanted to be like my grandpa Fred. Some of you might know my grandpa, Fred Lukens. He played here at UND in the late 70s, and I like to brag him up a little bit. He was the only academic All-American at the University of North Dakota in the men's basketball program of all time. And that was my goal. I wanted to be just like my grandpa Fred. I wanted to play basketball at UND. And so I remember in 5th grade, I'd go down to the cement courts in Wishick down at the park, the cracked cement with the chain link fences, the nets were chain, excuse me. And I would just shoot. My goal was 10,000 baskets this summer going into my 6th grade year. And then that summer, I worked at our family lumberyard, Pinke Lumber, and I saved up for a hoop because I didn't want to have to go to the park all the time. So I finally got my hoop at my house. I remember I'd just keep shooting. And in 7th grade, I started doing the 6 a.m. call, going into the school and lifting weights, getting more shots up. Always with this goal to play college basketball. And I was going to do it with my best friend, Zach Kavalvag. Now, when I talk about Zach, I speak to youth groups and schools around the region, and I say we were a Stockton and Malone combination, and I get a lot of blank stares a lot of the time. People don't know who John Stockton and Karl Malone were. I hope you do. But that's what we were. We were a point guard and a post. We were best friends. And how this came to be was he lived in Fargo. We got to know each other. And he wrote me a letter going into my 6th grade year and said, would you want to be on my traveling basketball team? So me and Zach, we played travel basketball all the way through. And we were going to go play college basketball together. Going into my senior year, I was the number 2 rated player in the state of North Dakota. I was getting recruited by all the schools I wanted to, all the I-29 schools, UND, NDSU, South Dakota schools. I was on track with my plan. My goal was almost obtained. And on a beautiful day in the summer of 2015, my life took a turn. Zach Kavalvag, my point guard, my best friend, passed away in a car accident with his younger brother on a sunny day. A semi ran him off the road, and in that moment, my life flipped. I didn't touch a basketball for 3 months. I was so close to my goal, and I didn't touch a ball for 3 months. I just needed to separate myself from the game. 1 week after Zach passes away, I get an offer from my dream school, the school that my grandpa played at, the school that my mom was on the track team at. I get an offer from UND. But it's not to play basketball, it's to play football. And Coach Schwagert gives me an opportunity to join the football program. And I took it. It was my escape from basketball, and it was an opportunity for something new. And so I took it and ran with it and became a Division I football player. You know, I always felt like UND was kind of where I was meant to be, but I never thought it would be on the gridiron. I had 4 good years at UND, 4 great years. We won a conference championship, made the FCS playoffs multiple times. You know, I always joke, I was a tight end on the team, and I was a role player. I played special teams. I caught a few passes, caught 1 touchdown in my career. Thank you for that 1 touchdown, Keaton Studsrud. But I'll probably get better as years go by. You know, right now I was a role player, but 5 years from now, you know, I was a really good player. 20 years from now, I'll probably be, you know, one of the better tight ends to ever play in UND. And by the time I'm 70, I always joke I'll probably be an All-American. So I had an awesome career at UND. I had so much fun. But the thing that UND really did for me most was introduce me to people that would change my life. And I think that's probably with anything in life. The people are what matters. You know, Ev Nelson was one of these people that took me under his wing with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. My freshman year, I had a rough go around, and he took me under his wing and said, "Hey, don't worry about your past. I see potential in you, potential to lead." And my faith became my own through FCA. I think of Sean Kosich, my position coach. A lot of memories with Coach Kosich. Not all of them are good, but the way that man molded me into who I am today, I'm forever grateful. And the amount of respect that I have for him is through the roof. I think of Jeremy Morris, one of my pastors here at Gospel Outreach, that helped start a college-age ministry with me. It started with, I think, 5 or 6 of us, and is now over 70 people. All these people that have come into my life and have grabbed onto me. It's pretty special, this place, this community. I think of my best friends I met here at UND, my teammates. One of them being my guy, Noah Wanzik. Now, if you're a UND football fan, you know that name. The third leading receiver in UND history. The kid from Jamestown that I called my senior year of high school, and we decided we're going to go to UND. 2 North Dakota kids getting to play for our flagship university. Noah Wanzik, we were on the same dorm floor freshman year. We were roommates and still are roommates. And we became best friends. And so when he asked me to go to Colorado on a ski trip to celebrate his graduation and his final football season, it was an automatic yes for me. I love to ski. We'd gone previously to Big Sky, and so when he said Colorado, I said, new place, why not? That should be fun. So Christmas of 2019, that night, I drive to Jamestown, we fly out the next morning, and we go to Colorado. We're gonna ski at Keystone, Colorado. It was a beautiful day for skiing. Wanzik and I get up to the mountain. We're one of the first ones up on the gondola, and 10 seconds in to skiing, I'm feeling good, y'all. Really good. Like, you know, you kind of get your feet underneath you, and then it's like, all right, I'm back. I think I got my mojo back. And I'm skiing backwards, in and out of cuts. And about halfway down our first run, I see this little chute through the trees. And immediately I gotta hit that chute. You know, I love to ski in the trees. That's why I ski. Fresh powder, the stillness. So I take that chute. It springs me through the trees. When I come out on the other side, what I don't realize is that there's another skier, and we collide. I went headfirst into a tree at high speeds, and from that moment on, my life took a drastic turn. I went headfirst into a tree and broke my T4 through T9 vertebrae in my back. Now, that is your thoracic spine, being your mid-back. So if I were to look through my chest on the backside, that's where I broke it. So I am a complete injury paraplegic, meaning I have no feeling and no function below my nipple line. You know, it's amazing. A lot of people have asked, what's that first moment like? When you try to get up and it just doesn't work. And it's scary. Very, very scary. You know, for a moment there, you think, why me? Like, is this really happening? And in that moment, I just called out to God. Like, God, I don't know what you got going on here. I don't know what just happened, but be with me now. And the only way I can describe what happened after that was an overwhelming peace hit me like a wave. And I can tell you very confidently here today that I have not worried about my future one time since being on the mountain on December 27th of 2019. Not once. And that I think can only come from prayer. But we'll get a little bit more into that later. I broke my T4 through T9. I was airlifted off the mountain. I went to Frisco, Colorado, where I had my initial imaging done. It was too foggy that day, so I had to get bused from Frisco to Lakeland, Colorado, a suburb of Denver, where I went through a 8-hour surgery to repair my spine. I say repair, but it was more of a cleanup because my spine was shattered. They had to repair some spinal leakage fluid as well as remove all the broken pieces of my spine. I have 2 big rods and a lot of screws holding my back together. I spent 9 days at St. Anthony's in Lakeland before I got transferred to Craig Hospital in Englewood, Colorado, another suburb, where I spent 2 months of rehab. Craig is one of the top facilities in the world when it comes to spinal cord injuries as well as traumatic brain injuries. And so that's where I learned how to do life again. And the experiences that I had in Craig not only allowed me to physically get better, but it also allowed me to mentally pick up on a few things and a mindset that will carry me through the rest of my life. And that's something that I want to talk about here tonight. You know, anytime I speak around the region or really about my story, I always bring up my nurse, Jennifer. She was awesome, first off. She's an awesome lady. But she was so impactful on me. And one morning, I was listening to Living Hope by Phil Wickham. And she came in and she says, "Oh, I love this song." I said, "Oh, are you a Christian?" And she said, yeah, I am. And she told me her story about how she had gone through a coma. She was in a coma for a month, folks, a month. Came out on the other side, no problems. She said, I have so much love for the Lord. And I said, "Man, that's so cool, Jennifer." She said, "Hunter, I no longer look at life like it's a glass half full or a glass half empty. I'm just glad that I have a glass." And that morning, my mindset completely changed. I'm just glad that I have a glass. I'm just glad that I have an opportunity today. The gratefulness to look around and reflect on your life and say, I'm still here. Because every day going forward for me is a day that could have been taken away up on the mountain. Gratefulness is one of the pillars in which I build my life on. I'm grateful for a lot of things. I mean, I got a great family. I always say I have the best family in the world, as hopefully a lot of you probably think the same thing. I have the best family. I'm grateful that, you know, the Lord gave me athletic abilities that allowed me to compete, follow my passion, play the sports that I love, and meet the people that I so deeply care for. But once you get to Craig, you become grateful for even more. You look at your hands, you become pretty grateful. I can move them. Some people can't. I'm looking at this camera right now. I can see that it's a camera. I'm looking in this building, I can see these lights. I can reason, I can comprehend. Some people can't. And suddenly, gratefulness takes on even a deeper meaning. I went on a date with death up on a mountain slope and came back from it. And life suddenly became even that more precious. See, when you get to Craig, you think you got it pretty tough. Division I athlete, and now I can't walk. Let's be honest, like, that feeling sucks. I'm never going to catch another pass. I'm never going to strap on the pads, but like, why? You know, thoughts creep into your mind of, am I ever going to get to walk my daughter down the aisle? You think, why me? And then you look around and you see what others are going through. You see my neighbor who's driving home from work after picking up her son, gets hit by a car, and in a matter of seconds is a quadriplegic, trying to raise a 12-year-old son. Or how about the dad of a newborn baby boy that at work a steel pipe comes, hits him in the head, and now he has impaired vision. His balance is off. How about my good friend at Craig that one day is a perfectly normal college student, 36 hours later is fully paralyzed from her neck to her toe with an infection of the spinal cord. And you look around and you think, pretty grateful for what I have. Suddenly, my injury and my circumstances aren't so bad anymore. I still had a glass. I'm still here. I still have a choice. And so do you. If you're listening to this tonight, you're still breathing. You still have a choice. And you have power in you that I don't even think you know. Tonight I'm going to dare you to step out. Step out of your comfort zone. Step out of the depression you're in. Step out of the sadness and realize the joy that comes with life. The joy that comes with having a choice. Because it says in Psalms, it says, "For this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." It doesn't say tomorrow. It doesn't say yesterday. It says right now. This. This is the day. So you better believe I'm going to rejoice in it. Because I still got a glass. You know, I got lucky. My time at Craig Hospital was right before the pandemic started to hit. I was there from January through March. And so I actually flew back to North Dakota like the week that everything started shutting down. I feel for all my Class B teams that they qualify for the state tournament and then they don't get to play it. That was right when I was coming home. That would have broken my heart, by the way, to not be able to compete at state. But I was really lucky that I was able to be at Craig before the pandemic really hit hard. There was a running joke at Craig of who was going to be in Hunter's cheering section that day. I always had somebody there. Like, I was so lucky, you guys, so fortunate that my family, I have a big family, but my family was always there. My friends came down. They were there. I had teammates there. Bubba came down. So I had coaches there. I mean, the joke was like, all right, Who's the people in your section today? We haven't seen them before. And so that was really fun. But not only was it fun, it was needed. I would go through my day and I would always have somebody there to support me. I'd get done with the day and my phone would be full of texts. I'd have a couple voicemails. I'd have people saying, "Hey, can you give me a call when you can. Love to talk." You know, my wall was filled with pictures that were sent. My counter was covered with letters. My heart was filled with a peace that can only come, like I said, from prayer. You know, that support in the moment, it felt really good. But as I look back, it was more than just feeling good. It was what I needed, because those were tough days. I tore every muscle in my shoulder, and I couldn't get around like I can today. I had to be lifted in a sling. You know, I have no control over my bladder. I have to time everything out now. There was a lot of moments where I'd lose control. You have to humble yourself, right? Because you realize that I couldn't do it by myself. I needed help. And here comes the overwhelming grace of God. Here comes Grand Forks. Here comes Mayville. Here comes Larimore. Here comes Thompson. Here comes Grafton. Here comes Steele. Here comes Annetta. Here comes Napoleon. Here comes Strasburg. Here comes Wishick. Here comes this state. It swoops me up. Here comes you to be my step when I couldn't step by myself. And for that, I am very grateful. You know, you get so much support from this community and this region. You soon realize that my cup is not bare. It's full. I still have a glass, yes, and I have so many people pouring into it. It would be selfish for me not to let it overflow. It'd be selfish of me not to share it with others. Because a lot of people I was around, you see, they didn't have the wall full of pictures. Their counters were bare. They didn't have the letters that I was getting. Their bank account was not being flooded with donations. No, rather, they were being drowned in their emotions of sadness and depression, fear, heartache. The least I could do, the least, is give a little encouragement. The least I could do is share some kindness. It says in the book of Luke, to whom much was given, much will be required. The past 10 months I've been given a lot. Friends, we are called to help those that are struggling, just as you all helped me in my time of struggle. And we have a perfect example when it comes to Jesus. You know, Jesus, perfect being, fully man, fully God, comes down to this earth to take away sin from you and from me. But he doesn't make a bargain. You know, today a lot of times it's, all right, I'll give you this, but under these circumstances. Jesus comes down to earth And there's no buts. It's, I'm giving this to you freely. He did not ignore the weary. He did not forget about the homeless. He did not condemn the men and the women for the mistakes that they had made. No, Jesus sought them out. He went after them. He helped the hurting. He saved the struggling. And he rescued the ones that had hit rock bottom. Does this sound familiar? It should, because the organization that we're celebrating here tonight does this on a daily basis. Last year alone, I'm going to read off some statistics to you that are mind-blowing. Last year alone, 500 people came to the Northland Rescue Mission to get a roof over their head when they wouldn't have had one otherwise. Last year alone, 15,000 nights, someone got a warm night's sleep with a pillow and a blanket where they wouldn't have had one otherwise. 4,600 meals served. 1,600 boxes of food sent home with families. 27,300 backpack meals sent home with children. I want to talk about difference makers. This is one right here. So you'll have the chance tonight to be a difference maker. You'll have the chance tonight to be the shoulder that can be leaned on by someone that can't stand by themselves. You have the chance tonight to be the defining difference in a child's upbringing. You have the chance tonight to be the hands and the feet of Jesus. See, the nurse at Craig, Jennifer, what she told me about having a glass and not looking at life, whether it be half full or half empty, just being grateful you have a glass, yes, she was absolutely right. We absolutely should be grateful for what we have. But that's only the first part of this puzzle. Once we realize we have a glass, it's not good enough to not do anything. There are people in this world, there are people in this country, there are people in this state, this region, this community that are hurting, that are broken, and I was one of them. And this community scooped me up and helped me when I needed it most. The only way that some of these people in our community, in our region, are going to realize that they have a glass is if we pour a little of our water in theirs and let them catch it. So I'm asking you tonight, what are you grateful for? I'm grateful for a lot of things. But one of the things at the top of my list is to be from this place. I'm a small town kid from Wishick. But I was born and bred North Dakotan. I'm a product of the upper Midwest where people are loyal, people are kind. And I'm grateful to have a Savior that came down and there were no ifs, ands, and buts. He came down for me. He came down for you. And He showed grace upon us. how are we going to fill somebody's cup today? How are we going to be the hands and the feet of Jesus? Again, I want to thank you for this opportunity to share. I'm so grateful, man. That word comes up a lot, but so grateful for your support in the past 10 months since I took a little tumble on a mountain. And a lot of people ask, Hunter, would you go back to that day? Would you switch it all around if you could? And I tell them, why would I mess with God's plan? Nah, just watch. Again, this has been an honor for me to be able to share with you, wherever you may be coming from, in your living room, in your kitchen, bedroom, wherever it is. It's been an honor. And I'm so grateful for you tuning in tonight. I'm grateful for this organization to allow me to speak. So with that, I'll let the show go on, but thank you and God bless.